All right, and welcome back to the Good Green Home Show with Rich Christakis and Shawna Coronado. We have a special guest today. We have Barry Green, fourth generation. Am I getting that correct? Owner.
Yeah, fifth, actually.
Fifth generation owner of the Jonathan Green Lawn Care Company. And Jonathan Green products, it's not just lawn fertilizers and grass seed. They have a new American lawn process that Barry and his team have come up with, and it's a very exciting, and this is going to be the future of lawn care in the United States. And he's here to talk to us today about the new American lawn process that's catching on across the USA. How's it going, Barry?
Oh, it's going great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we've always been very excited to deal with Alsop Nurseries, great partners, and a great spokespeople for the new American lawn, which, as Richard said, is it's really catching on. It's you feel good about it. You feel good about it because you're working with nature.
What is it exactly?
Well, the new American lawn, we try to distill it down to just a few sentences. It's planting genetically superior grass when you need to plant grass, which is Black Beauty, into healthy, biologically active soil. I know that's a mouthful, but so my new sales manager said, Barry, it's too much. He said, you've got to get it down to a message that the average person is going to understand and remember. And he said, the new American lawn is as easy as USA. And I said to him, his name is Mark. I said, Mark, what does USA stand for? He says, use Black Beauty grass seed, stimulate soil biology, and adjust soil pH upward with Magic Cow. So that's it, USA. And now we refined it even a little bit more. And this is what the team at Alsop's is going to see in the store and on our radio commercials and videos this spring. We've gotten it down to feed your lawn and feed your soil. And that's the big difference. Mm-hmm. Everybody else feeds the lawn. All they can talk about is, throwing down fertilizer or adjusting, or using pesticide products to kill weeds and insects. And yeah, sometimes you need to do that. But that's not the be-all and end-all. If you want to have a great lawn, you have to have good soil. And if you work with nature, you work with the soil biology, you're going to have a great lawn, such a thick lawn. There's no these other problems. Frankly, they just aren't much of a problem because the lawn outcompetes it. So that's the process. It's an exciting story. I sat down with a buyer at one of the co-ops just about a week ago. And I said to them, after Mark and I had made this whole presentation, we said, what do you think of it? And the lady buyer, her name was Lauren, said, this is very compelling. She said, very compelling. She said, I feel so good about what I'm doing for my own little piece of the planet now. And she said, I can sell this story. I can sell this story to our members. So,
what I'm still not understanding, is it an organic product? What is it exactly?
The key ingredients are all organic. So when the USA idea, the second letter is S. That stands for stimulate soil biology. Well, we have a product called Love Your Lawn, Love Your Soil. You just put it down with a spreader, just as you would fertilizer. But it contains dihydrate gypsum, L-amino acids, molasses,
so it's
calcium.
all natural.
I call it super gypsum, basically. It's like gypsum on steroids.
That's exactly right. It's like a super gypsum. Now, what does gypsum do? It opens the soil, it aerates the soil, it makes it so water and nutrients can go deep into the soil, but it also feeds the soil biology. Because the L-amino acids are actually the proteins that build the bridges between the microbes in the soil and the root hairs of the grass plant. Now, we don't want to make this a science lesson here, but, it is important to understand that that there is a symbiotic relationship, a positive relationship between the roots of the grass plant or the grass plant itself and the microbes in the soil. The grass actually, they call it exudates. The grass exudes chemicals and nutrients to the microbes, and the microbes feed the grass plant. So it's a two-way bridge. And if that bridge exists, then you're going to have healthy soil and a healthy lawn. If it doesn't, and what breaks the bridge is the excessive use of pesticides. And we're not, by the way, we're not against the use of pesticide products when and where they're needed. There are times when you're going to have grubs. There are times when you're going to have a fungus, and certainly weeds can be an issue. But that should not be our entire program. I think the average person, there's too much talk in our industry about killing something. Kill the weeds, kill the insects, kill the disease. Well, you can kill all of those, and you can eliminate all of that and still have a lousy lawn. What we're saying is, concentrate on building the soil up.
Prevention.
Oh, yeah. And you're suggesting using less chemicals to build hairier roots on the grass roots, so that therefore the roots are strengthened. That means they need less water over time as well, right?
That's exactly right, because their roots are going to go deeper. They're going to find water. There's going to be more of them. On a square inch of soil, of ground, it can only support about 25 grass plants. Well, if that soil is thick with grass plants, there's no room for the weeds.
Right.
The grass is shading the weeds, so you don't. You are working with nature, and nature. The saying we use is nature abhors a vacuum, and if there's a space, it's going to get filled. So you can eliminate all the weeds in the spring. And now it comes summer, and your soil's not really healthy, and your grass isn't strong enough, and it gets under stress. Well, what's going to fill in the bare spot? Another weed. It's a vicious cycle. We want to break the cycle, and honestly, organic products are essential, and here's why. And this is, I don't know that the average person knows this, but it's important for the listener to understand. The reason organics are very, very important in lawn care is that organics feed the plant through the soil. You put them on the ground, the soil microbes break them down, and they turns them into a liquid, and the plant absorbs it through the roots. The plant should feed through the roots. When you use chemical fertilizers, which are fast release, chemical products, they're not absorbed through the roots. They turn into a liquid and are absorbed through the crown and the stem more than the roots. And so you're bypassing the root system completely, which means the root system has no reason to grow deep. It's not the healthy way to feed.
Barry, you mentioned earlier a couple of things. You mentioned Black Beauty, and you also mentioned Magical. Now, for the listeners and the viewers, can you please explain what is Black Beauty and what's so great about it? And then follow that up with, we'll talk about what Magical is and why it's necessary.
Well, all right. I will be brief, but Black Beauty is a breakthrough in turfgrass breeding. The original parent plant was discovered in an oasis on the edge of the Sahara Desert. And a number of years later, another plant was discovered in a park in Marquette, Michigan. Now, one area is very hot, one area is very cold. These happen to both be in what is called the Festuca arundinacea family. This is the tall fescue family. Tall fescue plants, for the average, if anybody has any knowledge of grasses, they would think that of tall fescue plants from years ago. They weren't very attractive. They were deeply rooted.
People think of Kentucky bluegrass. That's what is commonly known, but this is different.
Well, and that's a good point. Kentucky bluegrass is what people strive for. That's they don't care what the grass family is. That's the look they want. They want their lawn to look like it was sodded. These varieties, which happen to be in they happen to be in the tall fescue family, but they're a different branch of the family tree in tall fescues. They look so much like bluegrass that I've been with sod growers in Chicagoland, and they can't tell the difference. We're driving out to look at a field, and they're telling me, well, this bluegrass was planted. I say, no, that's the Black Beauty planting. It's darker green. Oh, You're right. I forgot. It looks so much like it.
I've bought sod from those sod growers you're talking about, and you can't actually. It's better. This is a thicker. It's a better looking than bluegrass.
Okay, but what is different of the Black Beauty from other grasses? What makes it special?
All right. Here's what makes it special. It is much, much more deeply rooted. It will grow a root system as a mature plant, which takes 2 years. And that the root system that has the potential to grow 4 feet deep. Bluegrass root system grows 6 inches
water
deep.
saving.
So it's going to save a lot of water.
Very much like our prairie plants here. I love that. I have a question along this line. People over-fertilize their lawns, and then they overgrow with these artificial fertilizers, and then they have tons of thatch. How does the Black Beauty handle that? I mean, they're not going to be. It doesn't need to be over fertilized, I guess. First of all,
well, I'm glad you asked that. First of all, it's naturally dark green in color. It's genetically dark green. It's built into the plant. You don't have to fertilize a lot to achieve the color because the color's there already. Also, it has a completely different root system. It's what we call a taproot root system, not a rhizoming root system. So rhizomes are what thatch is. It's an overgrown bluegrass root system. There's no thatch with Black Beauty at all because it doesn't rhizome.
That would save people so much work and so much money because you could fertilize less with those expensive chemical fertilizers and focus on preparing the soil properly, like you've just said.
Well, that's right. And it also, Black Beauty, and this is the other thing that's really special because no other plant has it, it has an invisible waxy cuticle coating on the leaf surface. That's why it was living in the Sahara Desert, or why it could live in the Sahara Desert. What it does, you think of an apple, and you take an apple, rub it on your sleeve, and it shines. That's a waxy cuticle coating. A saguaro cactus in the desert in the southwest of the United States has a thicker coating like that. It lowers the evapotranspiration rate of the plant. It makes that plant hold water and doesn't release it as quickly. So it's, again, much more drought tolerant. But for the average person, the reason Black Beauty is important is it just looks great, and it is so successful in heavy use areas, in shady areas. It just survives where bluegrass constantly kind of checks out. Black Beauty stays in, and we've had so many emails and
testimonials,
social media feedback, testimonials.
Barry, I want to share a story with the listeners on a feedback testimonial with Black Beauty, and I was happened to be in a social gathering in a poker game with some friends, and there was someone I had just met that evening, and he happened to be a local police officer. And halfway through the night, he said, "Wait, what do you do?" And then he I told him, "Yeah, I work for this garden center." And he goes, "You know what? I think I listened to that radio show." And he goes, "I listened." He goes, "You know what? And you've talked about this Black Beauty grass seed before. Well, this gentleman actually takes care of the shooting range for the local police department." And he said they had a serious erosion problem with the berm behind the shooting range, all the bullets going through that thing.
Sure.
He actually came to my garden center, and he bought Black Beauty grass seed. He said it germinated super fast. Prior to this, he had tried everything, and nothing would germinate fast enough. It would just keep falling apart. And he swears by it. He said it filled in super thick, dark and green, and it held the erosion. It held the soil together, and it didn't require nearly as much watering. And it was kind of like, I'm like, wow, what a perfect, amazing testimonial. Talking about a shooting range. This thing is taking, heavy artillery fire. And the quick germination was the key.
I wish he would, share that story with us on our own social media. It's a wonderful story. Thank you. But you know what? Before I do want to answer your other question, and I won't make it as long because it's not quite as complex as Black Beauty. But you asked about Magical.
Yes.
Magical is pretty special. Magical is 100% soluble calcium. Now, limestone is calcium, but the average bag of pelletized lime runs about 7 to 9% calcium carbonate. A bag of Magical is 35% calcium carbonate. So it's a lot more calcium, and it is completely available. So when you spread it, and it breaks down and turns into a liquid, so it works right away instead of months from now. And the other ingredient in there is humates. And humates are the fossilized remains of plant and animal life from the time of the dinosaurs. Humates are a perfect food source for the microbes in the soil. So what you're doing when you put down Magical is you are rapidly adjusting soil pH, and it's very important. I mean, grass, even Black Beauty, likes neutral soil, and weeds like acidic soil. So if you get the pH higher, you're going to help the lawn, and the weeds are going to suffer. But and with the humates, you're going to feed the soil biology. So here's the beauty of it for the homeowner. And I've worked at your store and hundreds of stores over the years. And before Magical was available, we knew lime was important, and we always promoted it. But the customer would come in and say, well, what do I got to do? I'd say, well, what's your pH? And then he'd show me some weed, and I know that the pH was terrible. And I'd say, you've got to put down lime. All right, I'll do it. What do I need? And I'd say, well, how big's your lawn? Well, 10,000 square feet. You need 10 bags. What? And they just look. And then if they're not, usually they're kind of nice because they don't want to say they don't want to put down 10 bags. So they'll put it in the cart. And then, an hour later, when you're going to get a drink of water, you find the cart around the corner. They dumped it. The Magical, one bag of Magical is the equivalent of 5 bags of lime if it's a 5,000 square foot coverage bag, or 10 bags of lime if it's a 10,000 square foot. So it's a 1 to 10 ratio, and it works so fast. So now it's just like fertilizer. You spread one bag, and you get incredible results. You can move pH up a half a point in one application, which you can't do with any other product. So just to go back to that USA idea, think about it. For the first time with organic products, you can adjust the pH rapidly, and most homeowners don't have topsoil. They're dealing with subsoil because the builders stole the topsoil when they built the house. You can adjust the pH, you can feed the soil biology with Love Your Lawn, Love Your Soil, and you can plant grass in it that it can outcompete anything else. Now you can do your other, fertilization as you need to, but you're going to have a great foundation for a lawn. The soil's the foundation. This is going to be incredible. And I'll tell you a secret, which maybe I shouldn't mention it on a video, but I don't think you'll mind. We have a new guide. It is fabulous, and of course it's right here. Here it is. I'm proofing the final copy of it right now. It's called the Jonathan Green New American Lawn Guide. And Richard is aware of it, but this is a lot more than it was before. And in here, it tells every story, everything you could want to know is in here. But if you look on this edge, it says, pull out for money-saving gift coupons. So when a person opens it up now, there's going to be a coupon on the Black Beauty Ultra, which is the key grass mixture. And then there's going to be one on Magical and Love Your Lawn.
Cool.
And that'll be in the garden center to pick up.
And it's going to be available within a few weeks, and it's a big discount because the Magical and Love Your Lawn do cost a little bit. And people sometimes say, well, I was going to have to fertilize, but now I got to spend more money. Well, they say, you know what? We're going to give you a big discount for trying this. And what, and it's a gift coupon. They're going to get a gift coupon that they have to use at Alsip, so you're going to get a future sale.
That was Barry Green, president of the Jonathan Green Lawn Care Company. Barry, that was an excellent interview, and thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Stick around because we're going to have a few messages from our sponsors, and we'll be right back on the Good Green Home Show.
Feeding your lawn every year and still not satisfied? That's because you're doing half the job. You must feed your soil, too, with Jonathan Green's New American Lawn Plan. Your soil is filled with nutrients, but many never reach the grass because your soil biology hasn't been activated. This includes nutrients from your lawn fertilizer, too. Jonathan Green's New American Lawn Plan corrects the problem with 2 soil-reviving fertilizers, Love Your Lawn, Love Your Soil, and Magical. Love Your Lawn, Love Your Soil has a special organic formula that activates soil biology, releasing trapped nutrients while loosening up soil for deeper root growth. Magical balances soil pH so nutrients from lawn fertilizers don't go to waste and weeds don't become a problem. Do the whole job. Feed your lawn and your soil with Jonathan Green's New American Lawn and get the great lawn you've always wanted. Visit newamericanlawn.com to find your local Jonathan Green retailer. That's newamericanlawn.com.
Is your lawn being ruined by moles and voles? Bonide has the solution. Bonide Mole Max is an effective repellent to use against moles, voles, rabbits, gophers, groundhogs, squirrels, skunks, and other burrowing animals. The environmentally friendly Mole Max formulation makes it a great product to apply in areas where children and pets play. Just apply 3 or 4 times per year to send nuisance animal pests away. If your lawn needs some repair from mold damage, use Mole Max RX with Lawn Revitalizer. This will help repair your lawn while repelling the moles and voles. Bonide's Mole Max and Mole Max RX are available in a granule and easy spreader application or in a convenient 5-pound shaker applicator for flower or vegetable gardens. Bonide products are family made in America. Bonide Mole Max Mole and Vole Repellent is available at your local hardware store, garden center, or farm feed store, or go to bonide.com for a retailer near you. This product is not for sale in Indiana.